Are you being nice to my computer? Apparently not, because you had to move. Wow, it's been over 6 months of one of these episodes and the topic that I'm talking about. Oh, your eyes are so pretty. This is just gonna be like ASMR, me talking baby talk to my cat. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Mornings with Makaykay. I am Makaykay, and it's been a hot minute since I've done one of these episodes in this series. If you're a hardcore subscriber, you may remember that every other Monday I used to upload a Mornings with Makaykay episode where I would join you from my bed with no makeup on, still in PJs that I slept in last night, a cup of coffee or tea. This morning it is a vanilla caramel tea latte. I was out of green tea, so I felt like getting a little fancy, and I use this as a time to talk about something usually serious, usually deep, and in a very raw and vulnerable way. You know, no makeup on, in my bed, intimate apparel. NYU baby, I don't go there, but I wish. Shout out to Carter who does go there. These videos are usually a lot more intimate and personal to me when it comes to the topic, and they're done so in a way where I want it to feel like we are really connecting, like you're sitting on my bed, like there is no filter or anything that makes it feel like I'm on a different level than you, because sometimes when you're watching someone on a screen it just seems so distant. But hopefully this is a way for us to just have a raw, real conversation in comfortable clothing, tea, and something to chat about as we start our new week, and hopefully it's a good one, right? Cheers to that. Oh my gosh. If you've been watching my vlogmas videos over my vlog channel, you know that I'm kind of a hot mess right now. No promo, but go watch my vlogs. This is Zoe. About a week and a half ago we had to put down my other cat, and Zoe has been very clingy and baby-like ever since. It's really sad, but I think we both need the comfort at the same time, so I kind of like how close she is to me now. I told her right before I started filming that she's the big mama cat of the house now. Big responsibility for a little 5-year-old. Yeah. If you're not a cat person, you've probably already clicked out of this video. And although I said these were every other Monday episodes, they're just a Monday episode. You never know when I might come at you on a Monday morning with the Mornings with Makaykay. It might be 6 months later, it might be next week. You just never know. Subscribe! Today we are going to talk about being 7 months sober. If you remember the last Mornings with Makaykay episode that I did, I talked about my decision to be sober and stop drinking due to almost dying. Fun times last spring, fun times. Well, it's been almost 7 months now, and I figured it was time for an update on how it's been and how I decided to keep being sober after this amount of time, and the doubt that everybody in my life had that thought I couldn't do it. My boyfriend, just the other week, we were out for happy hour and he said something along the lines of, I can't believe that you went through with that it's been this long and you're still sticking to it. Good for you. And it felt really good. I felt very proud. So just to clarify, my decision for sobriety is not cold turkey all alcohol, but I decided to give up hard liquor. No vodka, tequila, RIP, I used to love tequila, rum shada, any of the good stuff basically is out of my system. It's just flushed. I feel so cleansed. I do still allow myself to drink wine or beer in a social setting or when I feel like it's appropriate, if that makes sense. I had a tendency as a teenager to semi-abuse alcohol for various tendencies, so that's why I feel like this decision is really important to me, because it's allowing me to really control my intake and take a step back and evaluate what am I doing to my body and to my life. Also on that topic, I'm using my mug that says liquid therapy. This was actually in my back to school video. I'm gonna link it above if you want to watch, and I got a ton of cute stuff in that haul, so definitely go watch that if you want cute mugs like this. I wanted to clarify kind of what sober meant to me, because a lot of you follow me on social media and I love to take those pictures of people with drinks when you're out, like millennial, right? It's so cool to have on your story. So if you're confused as to me being sober, like Makayla, what the heck, you literally just took a picture of a Moscow Mule last Friday night. That was my boyfriend's, and you're just gonna have to believe me on that, because I love taking pictures of them. They're cute, you know, it shows everyone online that, hey, I'm having a good time, but it wasn't mine, it was his. I actually got beer and wine that night, and I think I'm okay with just sticking to those because it doesn't make me feel hungover or drunk. Like, I don't miss feeling out of control like that. I love being sober. I want to first talk about some struggles that I went through, because I made this decision right before summer, right before all of my friends decided to come home from school and want to go out, and everyone is now over 21, so we can all go out together. I would go out and I would get a Corona. Love Coronas, classic go-to. But there were definitely nights where I felt pressured to join in on the fun, if that makes sense. And I know no one was pressuring me, but there is something to say when everybody is drinking and everyone's taking shots and everyone is not sober and they're giving you shots being like, come on. And a lot of it fell on me, because there were some nights where I just chose not to tell people, no, like I'm sober, because it just didn't feel right, or I wasn't close to them enough to be like, by the way, I made this huge life-changing decision where I'm not going to drink alcohol as we stood at a bar. It just didn't feel right. This one night I went out with this girl who I've known for a couple years. We worked together, we went to the same school, sort of. I went out with her and one of her guy friends. I started the night off with a beer that I was offered. Then we went out to the bars, and somehow I kept ending up with like drinks in my hands, and I kept telling them, no, I'm good, I'm okay, like you don't need to. I think they felt bad, or I think they felt like I just didn't want to spend money, so they would buy me drinks, and it would just be like tequila and ginger ale, or like vodka and Red Bull, like classic single pour drinks, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I would hold it and I would pretend to drink out of the straw, and whenever they would look away, this is awful. I felt so bad for doing this because they bought me something and I'm wasting it. I don't like wasting food, I don't like wasting something I spent money on, but every time I knew they were looking away, I pour it out, like as soon as possible. Or when they were walking away, I'd just dump it. I don't even know how many drinks they put in my hand that night because I feel like I did this so often. But then I also would find empty, abandoned cups at the club or the bar, and I'd swap out my drinks and I'd hold this empty one instead to make it look like I was drinking. And then by the end, they decided to take shots. I think we took Jaeger bombs. Or Fireball. I do know that we were at the bar, cheers, right? As soon as all their heads went up, mine went down, and it went on my feet. And I think this might have been the moment where the girl knew, because I got a little on her feet and she just stepped back, but we didn't say anything. Careful of my laptop, kid, because, oh no, no, no. I'm uploading a vlog currently to Vlogmas, so subscribe to my vlog channel. That's what's going on right there. But this cat did not touch my laptop. But that's one example of what I would do at the bars if I didn't tell someone that I was sober and I kept ending up with drinks in my hands. If I felt pressured to drink it all, and at that point it was still so new in my sobriety choice where I didn't feel comfortable drinking and I didn't want to because I wanted to make this promise to myself that I could do it, and I can, and I did. But there were nights like that where I had to make choices, and it was odd because at the end of the night when they were all passed out drunk on the couch and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, like swirling my keys in my hand, the host was like, are you okay to drive? I was completely sober, yet they saw me with drinks and shots in my hand. So that's kind of one example of what I did, but most of the time I would just stick to beer or wine and I would be totally okay, and people didn't feel like that wasn't valid enough because they just don't want to drink alone. After about 3 months, yeah, it was the end of summer, I started allowing myself to try other people's drinks. This is something that I didn't know if I wanted to do, and the first time I did it, I felt so guilty and ashamed, like I broke the cleanse. But I also knew that I wasn't in AA, this wasn't anyone else's choice but mine, and if I felt that I was ready, I could do it. I told myself it didn't count because it wasn't my drink, it was a sip of somebody else's, and I didn't do this all the time. It was only for drinks that I was curious about, like I had never tried or like looked really good. Good is such a subjective word, but basically drinks my boyfriend had, or yeah, that's it basically. If he had a new Moscow Mule from someplace, or I don't know, just like a cocktail that was curiosity to me, I asked if I could have a sip. Usually I didn't like it because it was so strong of this hard alcohol taste that I wasn't used to and I didn't want my body. When I did try it, I was always reassured that I was making the right decision for me by giving that up. I wanted to mention that just to show that I am human, I'm not perfect, and although I still consider myself 7 months sober because I had never had a drink that was mine in my hand that I drank, it was okay for me to try them if they were other people's. I don't know if that makes sense. I only did it a couple times. So it's kind of like when you're a kid and your parents have wine and they allow you to have a sip if you were raised like that. I was raised where that was okay. Not like a kid, but you know, but like a young teen. If I wanted to try it, the Parent Trap, come on, the scene at breakfast where she tries their wine. It's kind of like that, but I am still sober. I don't know if that will make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters because this is my choice. How has this choice affected my life in other ways? So I went to therapy. I love it. Love therapy. Best thing in my life, really. Something interesting happened that really made me want to make this video. Around October, I started getting the worst anxiety that I had felt in months, maybe even years, and it was at the oddest times, right before bed, turning off the lights. I would have fears that I hadn't had since I was a child laying in my bed, worried that something was going to happen. My blinds are broken, and every single night I was convinced that a bad guy would try to break in, cut through my window, and kill me. I was convinced that if I left my closet door open, someone would be hiding in there waiting to kill me, or that even because my door doesn't have a lock, even like one of my brothers, or someone would just open the door and hurt me. Like I was so afraid of everything and everyone. I remember not being able to sleep at my boyfriend's place because airplanes kept going over the house and he kept having to tell me it's just a plane. And then I was afraid because whenever I fell asleep, I would have the worst nightmares. I've never really been one to struggle with nightmares there's this one consistent nightmare that I had as a child. Oh, that's like a video all in itself. Maybe I should do that next. But basically it was fixed as soon as we got blackout blinds in my bedroom as a kid, and in October I had the worst nightmares. They were all lucid and they were all within reality realms. Like none of it felt like a dream when I was dreaming, and that's what freaked me out, is that I could not differentiate reality from subconsciousness. I'd fall asleep and then I would wake up and awful tragedies would happen, but it would be as if I woke up from bed and started my day. Like there was no telling the difference. My therapist told me I need to get a totem, just like in Inception, so that they would know when they were asleep. Found that to be kind of funny. It was slightly sarcastic. It's true, like I just couldn't tell the difference and it was terrifying. And then when I would wake up from that nightmare, I'd have another one on top of it because I was dreaming within dreaming within dreaming, and I didn't know when I was actually awake. I'd wake up crying and I would not be able to tell. And whenever I was at my boyfriend's place doing this, it was so terrifying. I would just stare at him and try to figure out, is this real life? And I've never felt that way before. I've never felt afraid to fall asleep, afraid to stay asleep, afraid to wake up and not know if I was actually awake. So I went to therapy, told all of this to my therapist in detail about the nightmares, about the dreams, about all these fears. You know, I was scared of a bird one morning. I was getting ready and I heard this tapping on an upstairs window and I was like, who is that? Someone's breaking in. I look out the window and it's this tiny little bird on the windowsill, and she told me I don't need to worry. Just kidding. It was terrifying. Like my heart literally was pounding. I was frozen. I was scared of a bird. So my anxiety was just to the roof, so bad. And I went to therapy. We talked about it, talked about anxiety medication and things that I could instill into my routine to fix it, such as a better nighttime routine, hashtag YouTuber, something to tell myself before I go to sleep to differentiate reality, a totem, better eating and sleeping habits, just like, you know, things like take care of yourself basically. So I worked really hard on that to fix my sleeping patterns. I slept at home more because the routine of sleeping in different beds every night, I feel like, hindered me. And then she said something that really struck during our session. She said, you know, I used to work with recovering alcoholics and people that are going through sobriety from drug abuse or alcohol dependency. She said something about how it gets really bad like this through recovery because your body's going through a cleansing period. And I don't know if she remembered that I told her way back in May that I gave up alcohol. I don't know if she ever thought I was serious, because let's be honest, nobody thought I could do it. My friends laughed at me. My boyfriend thought it was a joke. No one had any hope in me. I guess that said something about me before I made this decision. So then I brought it up to her and I told her, you know, like I gave up hard alcohol since May. It's been about 6 months at this point of our session. And I asked her, do you think that has anything to do with my anxiety and my mental state right now? And she said yes, 100%. And she would never say that unless it's been about 6 months since any of the substance abuse, because it takes about that long for your body to completely cleanse itself from it. Isn't that crazy? I had tequila 6 months ago, and for the next 6 months my body was trying to, you know, rebuild itself from that experience. So if you think about giving something up, give yourself at least 6 months to notice a difference. Like, that's crazy to me. It's because our bodies were relying on it. So she said that people that smoke marijuana, I'm just losing all of my brand deals. I feel them all just like deleting from my emails. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that when somebody gives up a substance that you've been putting in your body for a long time, your body becomes reliant on it to function. Your body uses it kind of like as a haze. I'm not a licensed anything, so do not sue me, but this is just my collection of learned thoughts. So when you give it up, it takes your body a while to rebuild itself to function without it, because it was so reliant on it before. It's kind of like when you go through a breakup and you were so reliant on this other person, and suddenly you're trying to function and live without them. It takes a while, it takes trial and error, and you're going to feel like shit while you're getting better. And that's what started happening with me. I started to feel like crap and my mind was like, what are you doing? While I was getting better, while I was sobering up. But it also meant that it was working. I was going through these side effects of not participating in any of these substances, and that I was going to be better because of it. So it was the most reassuring thing to hear that my anxiety, not being able to sleep, having all of these nightmares and troubles functioning were signs of me recovering and flushing out my body of these toxins. And maybe that's why I got better. But I think that's all that I wanted to say. This is more so as just an update on my life since deciding to give up hard liquor, and how this has influenced my social life, my health, and my mental state, how I feel about it now, and just the fact that I could do it. This is a huge accomplishment to me. I also told myself that now that I've made it 7 months without drinking, I'm at a place where if I want to, I'm going to allow myself to. What I mean by this is, on the night of my 1-year anniversary anniversary with my boyfriend, which was November 11th, 11/11, Make-A-Wish. We went out. I remembered how much I loved hot toddies. Hot toddies are like a classic winter drink, and so to celebrate our 1 year, to celebrate me not drinking hard liquor for 6 months at this point, I allowed myself to have a hot toddy as a celebratory drink. And I felt like it wasn't over the top, you know, it was just, what is it, bourbon or brandy with lemon and spices. I allowed myself to try it. I allowed myself to enjoy it because I made it this far and that I can do it. So I think where I stand now on my decision to give up hard liquor is that, hey, you did it. You went 6 months, you cleansed out your entire body, you feel better, you're no longer dependent on it, and you're alive because tequila kills. Within control, within one sip of a boyfriend's drink or something, if you want that hot toddy, then it will be okay. It's kind of like where I stand on being a vegetarian. I always call myself a selective vegetarian because I don't like meat. I don't want to eat it. Sometimes it really disgusts me because of the vegetarian morals and like coming from an animal. Like, she's so precious. But I also really love chicken nuggets sometimes. There are some days where like a turkey sandwich sounds amazing. So I'm a selective vegetarian, and I'm also a selective sober person. Is there a better term for that? I'm also selectively sober. But I can still say that I chose to give up drinking hard liquor in May, and that for the most part, I don't do it now. For 6 months, cold turkey, best decision of my life. But if it's my 1 year anniversary and I want a hot toddy as like a cheat day, I think it's okay for me to do that now, because I've hit a point in this journey where I feel safe doing that and where I feel like it's okay. Oh, she's asleep. I love my cat so much. That's it for this episode of Mornings with Makaykay. It's pretty long. I'm not going to fine edit it or do a lot because I think that breaks the message of these episodes. Also, sometimes I really love like those really long chatty YouTube videos that people post. So if that's something you enjoy, definitely let me know down below. Let me know all of your thoughts down below, because since I've last done one of these episodes, I've gained a ton of subscribers and new viewers, so a lot of you are not familiar with this type of video. If you want to watch more, I have 9 other Mornings with Makaykay episodes all listed down below, all about serious topics just like this that you can always learn something from and see me in my natural habitat, my bed, in my jammies with my cat. I hope you're having an amazing start to your Monday, to your week. Everything is temporary, and even if everybody doubts you about a decision that you're deciding to do for yourself, know that I believe in you and I think you can do it. 7 months sober, man. Who knew I'd be here at 22, but it feels really good! Wow, I feel so good right now just by like venting and talking about this. But that's it. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up because this really does help. I always look at the amount of thumbs up in different videos to see which one people liked more than the other, as well as subscribing to this channel by clicking this red button down below. We really are like one big family on my channel with lots of love to go around, and it's never too late to join. All you have to do is hit subscribe. Also, don't forget to click the bell because this notifies you every time I upload a new video, and I always shout out the first comment on all of my social media, so be sure to be following me so you don't miss any shout outs, as well as subscribing to my vlog channel because I'm uploading daily vlogs over there until Christmas, minus the week that I go to New York. But hey, exciting vlogs just the same. If you want more raw, real, honest content like this, that's literally what my daily vlogs are because I have no filter. I hope you have an amazing Monday. I'll see you on Thursday with a brand new video. Happy Monday from Makaykay and Zoe, who is sleeping with her little paws like this. I can't get over my cat. Do I have a problem? Oh, I'm just gonna stay in bed all day and cuddle Zoe because we need the cuddles, right? Hi, thanks for being in my video. Oh, you're kicking me. Oh, I'm allergic to cats. Surprise! You're so pretty. Yeah, you're so sleepy too. My pretty kitty. You're sleeping.